During this COVID-19 outbreak, Brosnan is focused on taking care of our customers. It's a difficult time and a difficult operating environment. And we know it's not just difficult to deliver service, but many of you are working at home. Many of you have changed your business practices. You're concerned about your businesses, and really almost nothing is what it was just a few weeks ago. So to help you understand the environment that we're operating in, Brosnan's created a series of intelligence reports that are free and available to you on our website. You can access them on a weekly basis. We'll provide an update, and then as things emerge, risks emerge, security concerns emerge, we'll develop specific guidance around those elements that might be valuable to you as a business owner, as a security person, or just someone who's very interested in what's happening in the world. Our intelligence briefings are created from a number of different sources, relationships with federal, state, and local authorities, as well as open source networks and our intelligence developed internally from our subject matter experts that have years of law enforcement in local, state, and federal agencies. So I want to share a couple examples of that with you today. One of our recent reports, intelligence reports that's available on our website right now, deals with two emerging threats to our country and to your businesses. Government authorities assess that violent extremists are likely to seek to exploit and enhance public fears during the spread of COVID-19. We know that both homegrown and violent extremists and racially motivated violent extremists are inspired by misguided beliefs and will increasingly attempt to incite violence, intimidate targets, and promote their ideologies. As an example, ISIS has publicly called for attacks against strained Western healthcare systems and issued directives to kill non-Muslims wherever you find them. Racially motivated extremists online have advocated for violence against targets, including critical infrastructure, faith-based organizations, minority communities, all of this in the light of the COVID-19 outbreak. So with respect to the potential for increased acts of terrorism, we're recommending that you teach, train, and regularly practice enhanced workforce situational awareness and reaction protocols. It's important that you be aware of your surroundings at all times. Observe and report anything that is unusual in your surroundings. Don't take anything for granted, but take action. Utilize sound access control policies in interior space to create standoff for vehicles, and pay particular attention to your ingress and egress. We advise you develop and publish practice sound emergency action plans that include identification of key personnel, evacuation plans, shelter-in-place protocols, and emergency communication plans. Many businesses have these. Now's the time to dust them off in light of the potential increase in threats. Give consideration to stocking emergency preparedness kits in your places of work as well as in your homes. Ensure media communications are up and active. Make sure you know what's happening around you. Have the availability to have the news on in your place of work if you're still open, and pay attention to what's emerging if you're at home. Identify appropriate personnel and channels for reporting unusual activities and suspicious behaviors. Clearly post key telephone numbers and alternate means for communicating, such as emails, auto text. Make sure that you have the ability to communicate when you need it. A second emerging risk that our intelligence report deals with is the potential for social unrest. According to the International Labor Organization of the United Nations, empirical analysis suggests that economic growth and unemployment rate are two of the most important determinants of social unrest. Supply chain reductions in manufacturing capacity have resulted in shortages in some areas, and social distancing, lockdowns, and shelter-in-place efforts to contain the spread of this virus have resulted in businesses shutting down, workers being furloughed, layoffs, and you all know the news. There have been reports of sporadic violence and increased anxiety related to panic shopping. Gun sales seem to be on the rise. Longer-term economic damage from the pandemic has yet to be unfolded. COVID-related cases continue to multiply. Stress on healthcare systems will continue to increase. We know mortality rates will increase, and the ability of individuals to meet their basic needs, as well as governments to provide essential services, will be strained. All of this creates an environment where social unrest is more and more likely. We're seeing some evidence of this in cities that have ordered shelter in place and even after hours requirements to be off the street. You're seeing gangs of people who have bad intentions out and active in those times. We know from our history, we know what happens after a hurricane. We know that there's potential for people to take advantage of situations to their own advantage and commit crimes that otherwise would have been impossible for them to commit. We know that local law enforcement is strained at the time. At this time, they're under a lot of pressure. And so our advice is to take action and have a calm and direct communication with your workforce. Make sure you're utilizing your call trees. Make sure you can communicate with everyone in your company at a consistent basis. Make sure you can always keep in touch with them. People get more nervous when they don't know what's going on. If your company is experiencing or going through situations where you are laying off people or you're furloughing people or you're making other business decisions, communication is the most critical element for you right now. If you're not communicating with your people, they're making it up and they're making assumptions, and you can prevent some of that anxiety through just communication. We encourage calmness. We encourage calmness in the way you act, in the way you communicate, and the things that you do. Yeah, you'll have to make some tough business decisions. We understand that. But calmly communicating those difficult business decisions in a way that people understand them and also understand what's available for them will also all help to have them remain in a calm state and know that there's an end. Encourage all of your employees to have sufficient resources on hand, food, medicines, cleaning supplies, and follow your own published emergency recommendations. For those that are working from home, remember, you might have good workplace emergency recommendations, but now they're at home. And just some words of encouragement to them about the status of your company, the direction that you're headed in. I know times are uncertain, but to the level that you can provide certainty and assurance to your employees, now's the time to do that. Brosnan will continue to forward suggested procedures that can be put in place to not only raise awareness, but more importantly, to do so in a measured manner that allows for all employees to engage with one another and to potentially remain at a calmer state as we work through this situation. The last thing I'd like to mention to everyone is there is an end in sight. It is a stressful time. There are weeks in front of us, potentially more than a few weeks. We're all listening to the news every day. We understand the level of uncertainty. It's good to take action to prepare for things that likely would not have happened outside of COVID-19. And Brosnan is there to help you make those preparations. If you need help, I encourage you to go to our website, look for the information, join our newsletter, receive these intelligence briefings up to date. And if we can help you, don't hesitate to call. We're all in this together. There is another side. We'll get out of it at some point. But right now, the best method that we can follow is communicating, understanding the situation, and being kind to one another wherever we can.
We welcome your comments below. Be sure to like and to subscribe. Smash that bell and we'll notify you the instant we upload any new content. And to stay in touch with us 24/7, go to our website, supplier.community.